at a high school in Denver. Police say a student shot 2 faculty members. CNN's Whitney Wild is joining us on this. Whitney, this student was being patted down every morning for safety checks, as we understand. That's your reporting here. What happened today?
Well, what we understand from officials both at the school and from Denver police is that this specific student had a safety plan that he was supposed to undergo every day. And as you said, he was undergoing this safety check, basically being patted down when he produced that firearm. According to Denver Public Schools, he shot 2 members of the faculty. They were school administrators. At this point, the weapon has not been recovered. That male student, the accused shooter, has not been put into custody yet. So there is an intense manhunt right now surrounding the school and throughout Denver, searching for this alleged assailant. As they move forward, Denver police are going to be contacting as many people as they can to find out as much information as they can about how the student obtained the gun, who may have seen this shooting incident. Brianna, I can tell you that it just so happened that inside the school on for another reason, paramedics happened to be inside. So fortunately, they were able to rush outside, or rush to the faculty rather, and administer life-saving aid within seconds, Brianna, just by sheer luck. So those faculty members being transported to the hospital, we don't yet know their condition. And just, more broadly, Brianna, when you look at this school, this is a large school. It's 2,500 students. Here's how some of them are reacting to today's incident.
We were sitting outside, and all we heard was trucks going past. Like, we just kept hearing trucks passing by. And then somebody said something about lockdown. And all I seen was a truck sitting, like there was mad cop cars, and I was like, what is going on? Came outside and I seen it was all like flooded out. Everything's flooded with like cops, ambulances. I'm seeing people getting put in the back of the cars and stuff.
An absolutely terrifying scene for any child who would have to witness that, Brianna. Again, this happened about an hour ago. The latest headline here is that these 2 faculty members have been shot, and that student, the person that they believe fired upon those 2 members of the faculty, is still outstanding. Again, no weapon recovered yet, and that student not in custody yet. Bree.
And Whitney, we did just get some information in from a press conference with police there, so I just want to update what we've learned, which is the condition of these 2 victims. One of the East High gunshot victims is in serious but stable condition, we've learned, and the other is currently in surgery in critical condition. So one of them in serious but stable, one in surgery in critical condition. Both of the victims are male. So of course we're going to be following that. I know you will, Whitney, to see how they are faring as time goes on here, but there's going to be questions here, right? I mean, if this is a student who had this process of needing to get a security check, clearly there was some reason. I don't know if we know anything about it, why that would be required, but also how do you provide a security check safely for someone who you may have some safety concerns about?
Absolutely, and that's the major question here. Clearly the safety check did not do enough to keep the people surrounding this student safe. And so as they move forward, certainly what was clear in this press conference is that they believe that they had been vigilant. School administrators, the Denver officials more broadly believed that this was a vigilant approach to whatever threat they believed this student possibly represented. But clearly there needs to be more done. And when I worked in Denver, this is a state, this is a city that is just all too familiar with shootings at schools. It rocks you. And to have to go through this, for communities to have to go through this over and over and over, especially there, it's really heartbreaking. It reopens those wounds. It tears open those sutures every time they see another incident like this, because sadly they are just so familiar with it, Bree.
Yeah, they certainly are. In February of 2023, there was an East High student who died a week after being shot near school grounds. I mean, this is a community that has seen gun violence, right? And they've gone through some of the heartbreak of that. I do also want to add, Whitney, that we learned from the police chief in a press conference that actually a handgun was retrieved. So that a handgun was retrieved and that several shots were fired during the search, that these shots struck both men who are school administrators. The suspect fled the school, according to the police chief. And like you said, the search for him is still underway. So that's really where we are at this point, Whitney, right? Where they're looking for this student. And I wonder if you have any idea about how they will be going through that process and the resources that they could be using for that, because obviously this is going to be a huge undertaking.
Well, certainly, if this student has a prepared safety plan, they know a lot about the student. They know where the student lives. They likely know, who to contact in his orbit to try to find him. So my anticipation is that Denver police is already at his house. And at this point, what they're going to try to figure out is how this student was able to obtain this firearm, and then further, this firearm, if it was obtained legally, if it was obtained illegally, if it had ever been used in any other incident. So these are all the things that police are going to be working through as they move forward with this investigation. But it does raise questions. If you know that someone presents a dangerous threat, why is this person allowed to continue to go back to school? And those are the questions, and that's the balancing act that Denver public schools are going to have to face. Denver police are going to be questioning as well. So as far as this investigation goes, Brianna, what we understand is that Denver police certainly knows who this person is. Again, highly likely Denver police is already at his front door.
Yeah, and just to be clear to our viewers what they're looking at here, these are a number of police vehicles outside of East High there in Denver, where there has been a school shooting, 2 administrators shot, and obviously, Whitney, we're getting some new details in. I'm going to let you go so you can keep looking into additional information. It is coming at this, it is coming in moment by moment at this point, as the alleged student behind this is still right now not in custody.